FamilyAffaires.com contributor Dr. Dan Gottlieb. Hi, Dr. Dan.
Hey, Rosie.
Dr. Dan, yesterday you had your last radio show that you have been doing now for 30 years. It was called Voices in the Family.
Still is.
It is? Oh, it's still there? Okay. And it's on WHYY here in Philadelphia, which is an NPR affiliate. And I haven't had a chance yet to listen to the show, but I can only imagine all of the emotions that you were feeling yesterday. And I'd like for you to share that with our audience.
I think this show has been a love fest. You know, I mentioned on a recent Huffington Post article about how much I feel loved, and in turn, how much I love the audience, these invisible people that I feel held by. So, you know, this is currently a tremendous loss for me, tremendous. But it's not about the title. It's not even so much about the show, or it's about the people, you know? I have such a great love and compassion for my audience. It's amazing. All these thousands of people that I've never met, I care for them so deeply. And
people who have probably tuned into you for the past 30 years.
Yeah, we're old friends. We've been through a lot together. And, you know, it's on the show where I first acknowledged my learning disability in public, my school failure, my shame, even the fact that I got dismissed from college my freshman year. I shared that with them, and they responded with compassion and kindness and self-disclosure. You know, they talked about their lives, and then, you know, I told them about my disability. I mean,
I'm sorry. I read the blog that was in the Huffington Post, and I never knew that when you started the show, you didn't let people know that you were quadriplegic. You were afraid to disclose that.
For two reasons. Number one, I was in the depths of a very severe clinical depression. And I had trouble with medication because the way my body reacted to these antidepressants. So I was in bad shape emotionally. So you can imagine how I felt about myself. And, you know, look, right from the accident, I felt crippled, useless, worthless. I felt like a burden to my family, my friends, and to the larger world. I wanted to live, but I didn't think I deserved to. And you know, this is also 1985. So there weren't many of us out there on the streets, and we weren't as accepted as
right, or there were people out there, but it wasn't brought out into the open. It wasn't, I'm going to use the word publicized just for not having a better word, but yeah, people were not as comfortable seeing a disabled person.
Right. And so I just assumed that they would see my brokenness if they knew, and they'd turn off the radio. So finally we did a show on disabilities, and my guest was Teddy Pendergrass, who's Oscar winning rhythm and blues singer, and Grammy, multiple Grammy. And he was a quadriplegic. And that's when I talked about my quadriplegia and everything I just told you about it. And oh my God, did that audience reach out to me. And the more I opened, the more I felt held. The more I felt held. the more I disclose. So, it's been a 30-year love affair, and I cried yesterday on the air, and I've welled up before, but I cried yesterday. So as the show's winding down and I begin to cry, I look over at the engineer's booth where usually, the engineer sits watching me, my producer sits, and my intern who answers the phones.
Mm-hmm.
That's who's there. As the show's winding down, I see there's about 12, 14 people standing there. Most of them are crying. And, it's great grief. It's great grief. You know what? I made the right decision. That doesn't make it less painful.
Right.
And, I often quote the Sufi saying, when the heart weeps for what it's lost, the soul rejoices for what it's found. Now I weep. Now I weep. And I feel grief. I feel grief as though there was a death.
Sure.
And that's the way it feels to my body, my psyche. We have been holding each other for 30 years. And now it's gone. But Roseann, I do want to say that we're going to be doing 6 specials a year.
That's great.
Every other month. The first one is on January.
And what is it on?
It's about psychiatry, psychology, where it was 30 years ago, where it is today, and what it looks like in the future. We've got a head psychiatrist from Penn.
What a great show.
Who is an old guy, my age.
Oh, that's not old.
And we've got 2 psych residents, senior psych residents.
Wow.
So we've got 2 old guys and 2 young people. And
kind of the past and the present.
And we're going to do it in the studio, and we're going to have 8 or 10 people in the studio with us asking questions.
Wow, that's great.
It should be a blast. And then 2 months after that, we're going to be going to Princeton to do it in front of a live audience, and it's going to be about cultivating compassion for our aging parents and our aging selves.
Great show. That's definitely needed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's great. And we will list all of the information on the site so we can all tune in. But what a great door it's opened for you now. You ended one thing, but now you actually get to be in front of live people.
Yeah,
so it brings a whole different dynamic.
That's my strong suit.
That is. That's what you love doing.
Real live humans in front of me. So
that's great. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure sharing my life. Thank you for asking. Thank you for watching.